Hey, yo, what's Gucci? It is Nico Fleeks, the Warrior King. We back at it again. Another episode of Single Mamas going wild. Oh my goodness, yo, it's like a never-ending supply of this nonsense. All right, with further ado, let's get it.
Last time I was single, I was 24 and the dating pool was everyone. And now it's like a shallow puddle of age appropriate men who are old and gross, and I don't want to.
Ma'am, you are indeed the one that's old here. Men don't really get old until they're like 45 years old, first of all. Probably like 55, depending on how well you take care of yourself. But, ma'am, women get old quite fast. In fact, men age like wine and women age like milk. Let's carry on.
Do that?
Today marks 1 year since my divorce was final. Wait for my pre-workout tingles to kick in while we talk about it. Some things that I did not expect to experience, besides all the sad things like the depression and anxiety and grief that come with divorce that I talk about in my other videos, but some other things that I didn't expect. Number one, having to reparent my inner child that I had no idea was gonna come out.
Okay, here we go with the schizophrenia, y'all. Yo, a lot of these modern women, they're all like mentally ill. like, like quite frankly, mentally ill. What do you mean reparent your inner child? Are you not a grown woman, my dear? What is going on? You look like a grown woman to me. I don't know what is it that you need to be reparent. How do you reparent a alter ego in your own body? Like, what is really going on here?
After divorce, there was a lot of parts of my personality that I had to suppress to keep the peace in a very high demand religion.
Why do these divorced single mothers always have like a million personalities? Like, and why do they always feel the need to refigure themselves out? What's really the deal with that?
And very intense, radically religious marriage. And so when I got divorced, a lot of those parts of my personality just started popping up because it had the space and room to just come out. And I had to navigate, like, is this part of my personality? Is this a trauma response? Is this just like my inner child rebelling? And having to reparent.
You see the mind games that they play with you guys, that they play with us? Like, this lady feels the need to refigure herself out after a divorce, as if they go into these marriages not knowing who they are as a human being. It's absolutely disgusting.
My inner child while navigating trauma was like a mind F. Like, they don't prepare you for that. That was not in the handbook.
Their version of trauma is you forgetting to bring her back home a frappuccino, cappuccino, or whatever crazy names they have for it at Starbucks. Her idea of trauma is forgetting to bring her back her favorite piece of chocolate or something. It's always something stupid, dog. Like, they always inflate their problems into something. Does this lady look like she has any trauma? Like, come on now.
That I was given. There is no handbook on that. That was wild. Second, tearing down the walls of this very like rigid cinder block box I was forced to live in for 12 years was really weird. I expected to just feel like a feeling of like release and freedom, which I did feel, but it was also felt with very simultaneous like confusion because I know what life in the box looks like. It's
Yo, this lady, okay, I'm just gonna be honest. White American women are some of the most privileged human beings to ever walk this planet in the history of this world, in the history of mankind. This lady is claiming that she was stuck in a box, yet when she divorced, she felt a level of anxiety. But now that she's gone from the divorce, there's like a level of unpredictability, or she likes the fact that it was predictable in her marriage. Why didn't you just stay in your marriage? Because it seems like you're all over the place now, ma'am. Where that is actually the biggest picture here, ma'am, and it's leaving me quite perplexed.
predictable, it's comfortable, I know what this looks like, and to have those walls be gone and to have to find my own box feel.
When she says find my own box, she means now that I'm back in the streets, I need to figure out what to do. But the streets is where you've come from. So the streets you shall return, my dear. Absolutely disgusting.
Feels a little like you're lost and confused, because although it was toxic for your mind, body, spirit, soul, all the things, and it wasn't where you were supposed to be, at least it was predictable. And now it's gone. So you have to figure out what.
Yeah, no shit, my dear. No shit, it's gone. You got the divorce and you got what you wanted. You're back in the streets, and that's what you wanted, yo. So there's really like no ifs, ands, or buts. These single moms are just going crazy out here, yo. These divorcees, like it's just left and right. You're better off not even getting married these days here in America, yo. Like honestly, maybe the only where you could find a decent woman is probably somewhere in the boonies or something. Somebody that had a decent upbringing, you know, decent parents, show her what a real mother and father dynamic is to raise some good, actually mentally healthy children that don't have multiple personalities. Because this is what happens. She probably come from, look, her mom probably taught her this information. Her mom probably taught her this behavior. You dig what I'm saying? So her mom probably has multiple personalities that she must have she didn't just inherit the personalities. It's not a genetic like disorder or anything like that. It's just these women are like generational thoughts, like generational street dwellers. And the man makes the mistake. He sees a pretty face, he simps, he marries the girl, but he doesn't know underneath is a street troller. Like a street troll. Like, don't let the pretty blonde hair and blue eyes, like, mess your head up, dog. You got to stay objective, man. 99% of these modern women are absolutely trash.
What your boundaries are outside of that box. Another thing that was freaking weird was I got married at 19. I was a child when I got married. My prefrontal cortex was still mid-development.
You know, it's funny how she's a child, like, only when it's convenient for her. Because I bet you if somebody was to call you a child when you got married, you would probably have their head. But now that it's convenient for you to consider yourself a child, here in this endeavor of you looking for, might I say, sympathy on TikTok, you're calling yourself, oh, I was a kid, my prefrontal cortex wasn't developed. Like, really, lady? I'm surprised you can even pronounce that stuff. Like, tell me, what part of your brain is the prefrontal cortex? Like, what are you, like, a doctor or something? Like, where do you get this information from? Like, and don't let that stuff fool you, yo. You are a fully functional adult at 19. Maybe not financially, maybe not, like, you know, in other certain things that might take you a little bit of time to build yourself up, but your moral compass should be 100% intact by the time you're 19 years old. What are you, 11? Like, come on now. Let's not go for that. Let's not go for that.
At the time I got married. If you are not allowed to rent a car, you should not be allowed to get married. But don't even get me started on that. Anyways, so I got divorced at like 30, 31. And so never in my adult life, or really my entire life, except for that 1 year in college that I wasn't married or didn't live with my parents or wasn't married, I had to make decisions by myself, which is totally fine.
Yeah, that's called being an adult.
No problem making decisions for myself. Love it, no issue. However, I've never had to make a decision where it didn't greatly affect somebody that I was doing life with. I've never had to go to make a decision and be like, okay, so how is this going to affect this person? I'm going to make a decision. How am I going to pitch this? How's it going to help them, hurt them, benefit them, stress them out in some way? So when I'd go...
Did you just hear what she said? She said she's never had to make a decision. Like, I'm about to just simplify what she said. She said, I've never had to make a decision that another person would be affected by. Are you effing kidding me? Like, the only way this would be possible is if she was raised underneath a rock and she was like an only child. I'll tell you what, man. I don't want to throw around the word narcissist, but that is exactly what a narcissist is. It's somebody who has no regard, has no empathy. In other words, you have no regard for anybody else. So That's pretty much what she's saying. But hey, maybe it's true, yo, because the way that she's moving, the way that she's looking for sympathy on TikTok is very narcissistic-like. And like I said, I don't like to throw that word around, but some things are just obvious here.
To make a decision, I was like, okay, this actually doesn't affect anybody but me. And that is a weird place to be. That messed with me so much, let me tell you. I could write a novel about how weird this first year has been, but let me just tell you this, okay? You are going to whip through a million different versions of yourself in this first year. And
no, ma'am, you're not. Most people do not whip through more than one personality in a set year, my dear. Why are you... Ma'am, you are the only one here that is ripping through a million personalities. Do not condemn anybody else to that. Please do not.
that is okay. Give yourself the space and grace to do it. Okay, you are going to be navigating just a million different versions of yourself, grief, loss, sadness, all while trying to rebuild a new life and keep your kids happy and healthy. And it's going to feel so overwhelming and so...
I don't think I have two brain cells to rub together after I just heard that.
So hard, but I want you to know you are not alone. There is light. There is love. There is an end of the tunnel. Healing isn't going to happen overnight. In fact, there is no destination to healing. It's going to be daily practice, but just know that you are not alone.
3 years ago today, I left a 5-bedroom, 3 full bath, 3-car garage.
Hey, yo, these divorced women are going out sad, yo. They're going out real sad. Like, squandered, like, that sounds like a very sizable house, my dear. And I'm sure you didn't have to pay for nothing. I'm sure your husband took care of the majority of the finances. So let's just carry on, though. Let's just hear what this lady's got to say.
Beautiful fenced-in backyard home to move into my mom's basement at 35 years old.
Oh my God, she squandered a 5-bedroom, 3.5 bath to go live with her mom's basement with her child at 35 years old? Oh my God. Yo, you can see the evil in her eye. Look at those eyes. Look at those eyebrows. Look at that long sleeve tattoo, bro. That is the uniform of a she-devil, bro. Just a Jezebel. Listen. She squandered a huge house that I'm sure, depending on where you live, could easily be worth $1 million to go live with her mom in the basement with her kid. She's a bad mother, and she doesn't even love her kids if she would do that. Like, you see how these women squander generational wealth for temporary happiness just so they could go crawl the streets, just so they could go find some sneaky links, just so they could go, like, enjoy some strange cockadoodle-doos?
Because I asked for a divorce. I divorced the nice guy, knowing I was not in love and not fulfilled in that marriage.
You heard what she said, boys. She said she deserved the nice, she divorced the nice guy. And if you go on my YouTube page and you look at one of my previous videos, I said, what did I say, boys? Women don't like nice guys. That is literally put on the thumbnail. What did I tell you? Sometimes you got to be a bit of an asshole, yo. You can't be afraid to be stern with these women, especially nowadays. Like, it's almost like the more rude and the more of a dickhead you are, the more she will actually gravitate towards you. It's clinically insane.
And that we truly just were not compatible. I had no money because I had been running a successful business, but this all happened during COVID. And my business was an in-person business, so it was greatly affected by that.
Have you realized that all of them claim to be entrepreneurs and claim to have businesses? So ma'am, tell me, how is it that you had 3 businesses but you're broke? Like, something's not adding up. Something's not adding up here.
On top of emotional and mental abuse I was dealing with and transition of leaving my home, I could barely function to work because I was in such a dark place. I lost family. I lost friends.
Yo,
I had people make up blatant lies about me instead of just coming to me and talking.
You can tell by her tattoos that she's not a type of woman that you want to. Yo, what did I tell y'all? Never wife these women that have excessive tattoos. It is literally almost a guaranteed telltale sign of baggage. Do y'all hear me? Women with excessive tattoos, you do not marry. You only use strictly for recreational usington. Only for recreational use. Bro, it's a telltale sign every time, gang. Look at her eyes. Look at them. Jesus.
Talking to me, they assumed the worst in everything. I didn't know where I was gonna go, and I lived with my mom for an entire summer until I found.
You see how they put on like the sad music in the background to like make you feel bad for them? Like the little background music is not fooling anyone, ma'am.
This crappy little townhome that I took because I could afford it. It was old, the basement flooded, but I made it my own. It was in a really bad neighborhood, and I constantly also had to deal with cops showing up at my neighborhood.
Yo, you see how she puts her children in a impoverished area and now they're in danger when she should have kept them? How could you do that? You might as well have just kept your kids at the dad's house, yo, because you're a scallywag. You are a rascal, you dirty scoundrel. How could you do that?
But again, I could afford it, and at that time, that's all that mattered. I was now not only a single mom, I had to figure everything out on my own. I had to get.
You chose this life. You chose this life. The streets you shall return, my dear.
Assistance with rent. I had to get help with food. I was in the lowest of lows. I went from being a six-figure successful business owner to barely surviving. Fast forward 3 years to today, and I am in this beautiful loft. I run 3 successful businesses, and I am genuinely in love with who I am.
When you have to go on social media and convince, or at least try to convince people that you love yourself, it makes it particularly hard to believe that.
The decision to divorce is not always easy. It is very scary. But what I do know is it's scarier staying with somebody you know you are genuinely not in love with, because it's hurting them just as much as it's hurting you.
Why did you marry the man if you did not love him? Why would you do that? Is it because you're like the last girl you need to find yourself as she goes through her million personalities in 1 year? Absolutely disgusting.
I promise you, you will make it. And the minute you'll know you've made it is when you can authentically be yourself with 0 questions.
And this is how I know I'm going to be vibing alone for a good while. Does any other single moms out there just get intimidated by the kind of guy that you want? Like, you have super high standards, like super high.
Isn't it funny how women, or actually single moms in particular, isn't it funny how, like, as soon as they become a single mom, they expect more while contributing less? Like, isn't that a funny paradox? They actually, like, expect for you to do more in the midst of them doing less.
Standards. And so when that guy approaches you, or for instance, I had this guy who was super successful, traveled the world, beautiful artist, not bad to look at, reach out to me. And of course, I am not trying to date right now. That is not my goal right now, but every now and then you get a little curious. So guy ends up in my DMs and he is asking for my number, and I'm like, sir.
Yo, what did I tell you? Haven't all of these single moms
Giving you my number.
Like the
is pointless. Not to mention
tattoos. Look at the tattoos on the hand, yo.
This man lives like across the United States. But I'm like, sir, there is no point of me giving you my number. And he's like, what? Don't say that, you know, or whatever. And I'm like, you know, for shits and giggles, let's just give him my number. I did. We're texting, having some conversation, and then like me just like have an epiphany. Like, this man has literally traveled the world, Japan, Europe, like I said, beautiful artist, probably loaded, not bad to look at. And like, what does he want with all of this craziness? Like, all of this single mom craziness.
Oh, she said it. Did y'all hear that? She said it. Listen, I'm about to simplify what she said. She's basically saying he's got the, you know what I'm saying? Listen, bro, you know these women basically want the 666, right? Like as if they're the devil, right? They want you to have the 6-figure salary. They want you to have a 6-pack. And they want you to have, what was the last one? Oh, yeah, 6 feet tall. You feel what I'm saying? 666. She was basically saying that he's got it all. So what the hell do you want to do with me and my disgusting single motherhood? She said it for herself, boys. What did I say in the last video? I specifically said that a single mom, if you get with her, she will eventually resent you and also not respect you, because she's going to be like, why are you with me? Do you not have anyone better to chase, or do you not have anyone better to be with? Why would you want to be with my disgusting self? They actually hate themselves. And I'm not saying that all single moms are inherently disgusting, but most of them are, especially here in America. You dig? But what I'm saying is, these women know that they're low quality. So when you want to be with them, they're going to assume that you're low quality as well.
This girl hasn't even ever been on a plane before, so immediately gets super intimidated and just ghosts this man. And that is probably the story of my life for a while.
So I guess it's safe to say that even when you got it all, you're still not enough. Because at that point, you just scare her because bro, you can be literally too good for a woman. Yeah, there's such a thing. Like, forget like what she looks like, how cute she is. Like she's dirty. She's a scallywag, bro. She left her man's, like, you know what I'm saying? And you want to come in, you're loaded, you're tall, you're fit, you're in good shape, you look good, you smell good, you walk right, you talk right. Why would you want to bring yourself as the blessing? Why would you want to bring that to her life? She does not even deserve you. She don't even deserve a high quality guy. She said it for herself. She said that I am intimidated. Why would you want to be with me and with my chaotic single mother self? She literally just said that. Looks like we'll be leaving it here. This is Nico Fleeks. Don't forget to subscribe and drop a comment. We out of here. Oosh!